Hello and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making beef and cabbage soup. Alright, so I know you're probably saying beef and cabbage soup. Yeah. Believe it or not, when I actually made this for myself, I was amazed how much I liked it because I was thinking cabbage, I'm not sure. But it actually turned out really well. So what we're going to do is get started by cutting up a couple of pieces of celery. And you're going to cut these to a smaller slice straight across. They don't need to be huge. And when you get those all cut up, you're going to push them to the side, and we're going to take a small to medium cabbage. If you get a medium one, you're only going to need about half of it. I tried to put a decent amount of cabbage into this, so I did a little over half of a medium one. I just sliced off part of what I didn't need, and then the rest of it, I cut it into shreds. It's really not needed to be huge pieces. Just slice down into the cabbage, as you can see that I'm doing, and you're going to get hunks of it, which when you put it into the soup, it's going to cook up, and that way as it cooks, it's going to actually decrease in size. It'll be a little bit more wilty. However, it's the way you want it for a soup. Make sure that you don't have any of the hard stem pieces in. If you do, cut that out. We're basically going for a lot of the outer edges of it, not stem. So in a large pot, what I have done is put in a pound of ground beef, which I'm going to heat this up. I want to brown it, but I also want to break it up into small bits as I go. So the whole point of this is to heat it up and then chop it up. So you're going to see it start actually doing its deal as it's going in the pan. And as it gets hotter, it's literally just going to chop up into bits, and we're going to have lots of smaller pieces of ground beef. We don't want it to be large hunks because this is going to mix in with a lot of the other ingredients that are going into the pot. So keep turning it around, keep browning it. This will take a few minutes to brown, but it's just simply, get rid of a lot of the pink. You can have a little bit left, but not a lot. Now, as you can see with mine, it's been cooking for a few minutes. When you get it all browned off, if you have an excessive amount of grease, you can get rid of that. That is your choice on how much of it you want to stay in there. Mind you, some of it is going to be flavoring for when you put in the other ingredients. It's just one of those things where if you have a huge amount, I'd take a little out. But if there's just a little in there, leave it in. It's not going to hurt anything because it's going to mix through with what else you're doing. And as you can see now, mine is completely browned. So what we're going to add to this is a half a teaspoon of garlic salt, a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, a quarter teaspoon of pepper. And once you got that in, then we're going to add other things to this. The next thing we're adding in is a can of chopped or cut pieces of tomato, which mine had an Italian flavoring. Then I had a can of light red kidney beans, which I removed the liquid from. You don't want the liquid from that. And then on top of that, you are going to add 3.5 cups of water. And you're going to get this all in, and you're going to mix it up a bit because you want to stir this through. And then to this, we are adding better than bouillon, which basically that was a little over 2 tablespoons worth, because we want to give this a good flavor and kind of turn up the beef and the whole mix. So keep stirring because you want to break that up. So as you're doing this, you're still on high heat here. You're going to have it actually cooking as you're stirring through the beef bouillon. And as you're doing this, all your other ingredients are mixing together, especially like the diced tomatoes. The best thing about those is they came with some seasoning of their own, and that's going to add to. And the kidney beans are going to get stirred through. Now we're going to add in the celery that we cut up earlier. So go ahead and pull that in. And then after we take that and get it in there, we are going to add the cabbage. And it's okay if the cabbage is above the liquid in your pot, because as I said, as this cooks, it's going to cook down, it's going to go into the mix, and you're going to stir this periodically as it's cooking. So don't worry about the fact that it's kind of on top for a moment, because as you put a lid on this, it's going to steam and it's going to help it start cooking, and then you're going to stir it through into the rest of the mix. Now, once you have everything in the pot, you're going to want this to cook for at least an hour. So periodically you're going to stir it, you're going to mix the ingredients together, but cooking it for an hour is going to help it cook in and cook down, and actually all of the flavors are going to mix together. And as you can see in my pot, it's already cooking in. And believe it or not, this is an amazing soup. And it tastes like something you would get from a restaurant or someplace, not something you made at home, because it has such a good flavor, and it's light, and it's not so like heavy of a soup. It's one of these things where it's kind of a joy to eat. And if you try this, I think you might just enjoy it, because I was surprised. And then in the end, if you can look at the screen here, you see this is what mine looked like in my bowl. And it is the best. So give it a try. I'm thinking you're going to like this. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.